Well, we're back at it. We're gonna be getting on this thing. It is a nice warm day. And goodness, this thing is destroyed. So I remember back when the motor went out of this thing before, I had my old, oh that's right, I can't get in the door. When I had the first motor go out, I basically took this thing and just let it sit in a hole, basically something like this. And I just let it sit there for a couple months until I decided to work on it. And now that's what we're gonna be doing today. I gotta figure out a way to get this back bumper off as well. Definitely not gonna be doing it today though. But I am going to start putting parts on and getting things loaded up in the CRV to take back to the storage unit, which unfortunately, when I took a turn, you guys will see, I took a damn turn, my bucket flew over. So, all my stuff went everywhere. Take that, throw that back in there. So I'm gonna have to do a little bit better with this. But I am gonna I have a couple more crates at my storage lot. So I'm gonna go get a bunch of those as well. Get that down. So I have a ton of these. So I just need to grab a couple of them so I can lean them up in the back. But this is basically what I'm gonna be using to transport parts back and forth, like the destroyed fender flare. And the guy, Zach, who is responsible for sending me some mega cab flares, he said that he just cut all the nuts off the backside, which is a really big pain, especially once you start getting up here. But his is probably a lot easier. Maybe not actually, because if they were up here, yeah, I don't know. I don't know how he would have done that, but I gotta get this hole plugged and we'll go from there. But not super picky about it. This bed actually looks like it has seen some stuff, so I'm gonna have to pound that dent out and work around this dent here. But the other side, I'm gonna try to save. This one was held together. Oh, it looks like somebody tried to fix it before as well. So this one was held together with zip ties. This one is in perfect condition, I would say. No, not perfect, but you know, the scratches and whatnot, you can go over that and fix that. But I'm gonna try to save this one correctly, but we will see. Let me get some of the air out of the bags. I also went and got bolts instead of pins. There we go, get that suspension dropped. So I'll be able to get rid of the slop in my hitch. I really wish that I would have done that sooner, because you guys can see like there's holes that are oblonged. Oh yeah, there we go, she's dropped. Get that one, and then a little more on that one. There you go, she's dropped. So on this side you can see, I really wish that it sat this low normally. I've said that so many times, and I really mean it. But also we're gonna get that exhaust tip pushed in. The duals have been great, no issues there. This whole thing should work like where it's at, so those holes we shouldn't have to get rid of. This one here I'm gonna have to figure out at some point. Probably have to move this hole like down here somewhere, but you know, in due time we will get it taken care of. All right, so it looks like my calculations were a little bit off, and I wish that I would have got the 5-inch ones. So I went and bought these bolts. And that's very disappointing because that's all that is gonna sit on there. Ah, that sucks. That sucks. I wanted the 5-inch ones, but 4-inch was all they had at Tractor Supply. So that's unfortunately what we're stuck with. So let's see if this actually goes in. That sucks. That sucks a lot. I'll have to go get longer bolts at some point, but in the meantime it'll do. Hit it on with an impact, and we'll go from there. I knew that 3-inch or 4-inch wasn't going to be enough. Just knew it. All right, so success. Yes, I will get longer bolts at some point. I'm not using this hitch in the meantime, but you can see how much tighter that is. So that's the way to do it, honestly. And then I went and got 2 of these little pins here. The reason I got 2 was because I don't know what the size of that one is. So I got a 3rd one that was really big. And I think that the big one will fit in there. So that's why I got it. And then I got, yeah, I didn't even realize. I got this little guy here too, so. Nice, doesn't hurt to have extras. Maybe I'll go buy a second one of these now. And we'll know for next time that 4-inch, you need 5-inch if you're gonna run a Kurt hitch. All right, no regrets, because this pin is a little small in that, but a little too big for this. And then this pin, you know, even though there's a little slop, that's perfect because this one is a little too big, whereas you have to pound it in. And this one is a no-no. This one's great, but then this one's also a little too small for that. So this one over here is a lot bigger. That's a beefy guy right there. So that fits in there perfectly. You do have to hit it a little bit, but it definitely goes in by hand. So that's how we're gonna run it. I'll go from there. Probably gonna go to the storage unit later. So I'm gonna take these straps with me because I'm not gonna need them. And we shall go from there. I'm gonna need to buy straps for his car trailer just because of the fact that I may use his every now and again as a single, but this thing is definitely not good for towing, so we're not gonna use that. It will all be dedicated. This guy, I would love it if this thing could tow. That would be pretty cool, but not with independent rear suspension and a 120 horsepower engine. All right, so I went and got this Reese, Reese, and it's for a 16K hitch, which is perfect because that's what I have. And it looks like one bolt hole already lines up. I wonder what's underneath of it. I don't know. So I'm gonna have to pull this head off. See, I'm doing all the little bullshit first because I'm not really in a hurry to put the truck back together. But I'm just slowly dicking around with stuff. So obviously I want to get this thing on. That way it's not just sitting somewhere. So let's get this thing pulled off and we will start drilling some holes. All right, fifth wheel plate is installed. I don't like the way that they, I don't think the Reese was really made for this one, even though it's a 16K hitch and 16K Reese head cover for it. So I didn't get to put the nuts on the backside because it's actually the way they have this set up is physically impossible. They have it welded the whole way around. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go get some bolts that are bigger than this, self-tappers, and just run them in. And that will be plenty fine because I am gonna, once I get my CDL, this hitch is gonna go anyway. I do plan on getting a 25K hitch so that I can get, so that I can pull the bigger trailer or bigger loads and whatnot, because I have a 21K trailer with a 16K hitch. But my trailer is derated to 17,000, and being that it's a 16K hitch, I think it's either 16 or 17, I'm not sure. But either way, this hitch is more than enough to do what it needs to do. But when I go 21K, obviously legalities and everything, it will not be enough. So I'll upgrade that eventually, but I want to try that plate out like that, throw some self-tappers in there, and she'll be all right. One of the holes you can't use either because it has one of the bolts through it that hold the jaws. So can't do that, but not a big deal. So super happy with it, just because I won't have to use a lube plate anymore. But you can see it really doesn't fit the head. Like, yeah, it doesn't fit the way it's supposed to, but it's a Reese cover on a Kurt hitch. All right, so now that we are done and over with that, let me get the door open on the other side. From there, door open, other side, boom boom. Let's get it. Just waiting on new doors. Here's all the parts. Did save the emblems and everything, but you know, it's one of those. I'm more excited about the CRV right now than I am this thing. So it's like I've been enjoying working on that and just leaving this sit. Like I don't really care all that much right now. I just don't. So not in a super big rush to get this thing done either. But let's throw the grill on. I'm gonna do the grill first, just because I have all the brand new hardware. We've been waiting for this thing for a while, and it just makes sense to throw this on first because the hood doesn't need work. So we'll have to put fenders on next, and then we'll put the headlights on. Then we need to pull the bumper back into place and then re-weld it, and then the whole front end will be done from there. And then we can work on, I'm gonna put the mirror on this side at the very least, just because I don't want to put the mirror on the other door and not knowing if we have another one or not. But this grill is like really, it's kind of flimsy. It doesn't feel like, I don't know, it feels like it can take getting thrown around a little bit better, whereas my old grill was a hard plastic and it ended up breaking all of the clips on the back. But I told you guys I was going to order a grill. I did. I've had it sitting there for a little while, but you know, let's just let's get into this thing. What do I need? A bunch of 10 mils, 8 mils. Let's go grab some 8 mils and get to work. All right, so I think I figured it out. Basically 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 of these little guys here. I'll show you if I can get it out. Yeah, so these guys, I'm gonna slide right into place there, and then the nut, take that off. So, and then they will have these, I guess, will go on the back side, and then we'll screw that in. So let's take the nuts and all that off first. And then, yeah, so we'll take all those nuts off, which are a 8 mil, and then the bottom should be 10 mil. These are a 10, pretty sure. And throw her on. There was 3, 1, 2, and 3 left in here. So now, apparently this thing has right here, pinhole, or pin here and a pin there. So let's try to set this thing up here nicely. Kind of excited to see what this thing's gonna look like. Should be right in there, and then once on the other side. I like this style of grill, to tell you the truth. Yeah, so we're all in. I just gotta start putting bolts in. All right, she's up there by the top 6 bolts. Now we just gotta do the bottom 6, and I don't know, I thought there was one side bolt, but apparently not. I guess it's just the 6 on the bottom, so let's get her done. All right, there she is with the grill. I'm not gonna latch it, not even once, just because if I do that, there's no release on it, so I'd have to like crawl way up underneath. But there you go, guys. That's the grill you guys have been waiting for a long time. This thing is gonna look sharp with that grill, I'm telling you what. But I think what we're gonna do now is we're gonna start throwing fenders on. At some point, we are gonna go through and get the truck painted. I'm gonna have to regardless, just because of the fenders and the rear bumper, which I put in a rear bumper on here before, long time ago. Forget what happened to it, but I put one on a long time ago, and it had that epoxy primer that you guys are talking about, and it actually held up really, really well as a rear bumper, so I just left it. So I'm gonna do the same with the fenders for now, and then come when I decide to take a next time off for an extended period of time, then we'll paint them. Or if I start noticing rust, then obviously, yeah, then we'll just say, hey, let's just do the whole thing. But for now, not super worried about it. But yeah, so next step. All right, so we got one on. I don't have any of the bolts tightened down here because I want to get this lined up perfect first. And unfortunately, the bumper is kind of keeping us from getting things lined up because that bumper is a little crooked. I do need to take care of that. I did close the hood so you guys can kind of get an idea of what's going on with it, but I will get at least the headlight and the fender will probably, and this side, the mirror, will probably get tomorrow. And then this fender will not actually go on just because this is in the way, so we need to get this in the shop to pull this whole side. So we're gonna deal with one side first and just get it done. Might even tackle the bumper, I don't know yet, but I am gonna start grabbing parts out of it, not parts, but start grabbing tools out and putting them back here so that I can at least have tools while I'm home, so if we need to do anything. But let's see, any play? That's solid, that's pretty cool. So yeah, that's basically where we're at. Did not get a lot done, a lot progressed, but you know, it is what it is. Sorry about that, guys. I really wish that I could have got more progress done, but the CRV took a lot more time than I had initially thought it was going to. Let's get this guy popped up in there. There we go. So that's all done. Went and got my clips. I also have the 2 bolts down in there, but it's coming together one step at a time. So I'm gonna grab like I said, some tools. Need to cut up the old flares here, cut them guys up, and we'll throw them in the back because we're gonna throw them away. But I'm gonna grab all my power tools a while, and we'll go from there. So I'll tell you guys now, that stuff ain't no joke. It got me good. That's a deep one. So that's really deep. This stuff here is sharp when it goes across your skin. Wow, wasn't expecting that, but I'm trying to get this stuff cut up. It is not cutting very easily, but I got a bunch of pieces in here, so don't cut yourself on fiberglass.